Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. And if you're new to my channel, my name is Anne, and on my channel I review foreign international content. I like to say we travel around the world sitting on our couches enjoying foreign content, right? And especially right now when we can't travel as much as we would like to, so much fun to watch shows that are of different cultures and countries, and it's just fantastic. So if that's something you like to do or something you're getting into, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right space. Don't forget to subscribe, turn that notification button on, so the next time I'm reviewing another foreign show, you'll be notified. Last time we're in France, and this time we are in India, one of our favorites, right? If you love any Hindi movies, Bollywood, then you are in the right place. And this one is so good. It just actually premiered on Netflix yesterday, and I had to watch because I had it on my to watch list, and it did not disappoint. And the name of this one is The White Tiger, which was very interesting. Let's just start off with, I did not know, you can tell me if you knew, but did you know white tigers only happen once in every generation? Like, I had to go Google. It says every 10,000 births, then a white tiger is born. So they're very rare, which is like, wow. So meaning him calling himself the white tiger meant he was very rare. And that was kind of really interesting. This show had a lot of life lessons that applies all over. It doesn't matter where you live, United States, India, whatever. This show had a lot of really good lessons. And the cast in this show is Adash, who that's his name, and he's playing Baram. And really, the show really focuses on him. And then obviously we have our beautiful Priyanka Chopra, Jonas, right? She married one of the Jonas brothers, so her last name is Jonas now. And then we also have Rajkumar, and his name is Ashok, who is right there, and he is playing Priyanka Chopra's husband. So the story really is told about, it's really about Baram. It opens up with them showing us about him. He looks like he's made it, and then we go back, like how he got there, right? And that was kind of, I love how they do that when they open up with like, you're here, but let me tell you why I'm here, right? And so it's really being narrated by him, and it's his story. And he talks about how he grew up in a very poor neighborhood, a village. And I love how they captured all the different parts of India and really captured that whole poverty. And you felt like you were there in the struggle. And obviously, he was different in the fact that he loved to read and he loved books. But because of so much poverty, when dad died, grandma had to pull him out of school to go work, so to help the family. And so that stopped his education. I believe he stopped at class 3, I believe is what they said. So then he's always been a servant. And really, the show talks about a lot about classism, caste system. In India, I guess there's low and high class, depending on what caste you're on. And obviously, I believe most poor people are in the low caste, and people who are rich are in the high caste. So it really shows a huge idea of classism and how that affects different people depending on where you land, and which is something that we can all relate all over the world. But what makes it even more interesting in India, obviously, corruption can make things even worse for people who are poor. So anyway, he grows up poor. He always sees this guy who always comes to get rent from people in the village. And unfortunately, his father has never had the money. He always beats up his father. And he was like, I'm going to work for that guy one time, okay? I want to work for that guy. Whatever he does, I need to find out what he does, because clearly, whatever he's doing, his life is much easier than us who are poor. And I also loved how they talked about that just being poor, it's just not being the state, it's also mental. Like, I don't know, when you watch it, watch the part where they tell the story about the chickens or the cocks and how they are caged in, and they watch the person who owns them killing another chicken, and they never for once think I should run away. Like, that's gonna be me. Sooner or later, that's me. Like, why don't we run away? And that the mentality of poor people can be that. There's even one point where they say you could come to a poor person. They've been so engraved they need to be poor and they need to be a servant all their life, that you could come and say, hey, here is your freedom papers. And they would like shove them back to you and tear them up, like almost like, no, I'm supposed to do this. Like, the society has made you think that's who you are and that's what you should be. They even give an example where you can send a poor person who barely have any money, who's working for you, to go bring money. Go pick up my money and bring it to me. And they would not steal a cent. I mean, he is holding this money that could probably save his life and his family, and they would never even think about stealing and bring every cent to their boss like this. I mean, God bless them for integrity, but it also shows the mind washing and brainwashing where you think this is the best I can ever be. So really, for Bahram's character, he was like, I am gonna break this curse, for lack of better words, right? So he says, I'm gonna work for that guy one day just to find out how does he do it. And so then that comes the husband of Priyanka, Ashok, comes. They were told that they lived in the United States, in New York, and they come back home to India. And he comes obviously to see the village where his dad collects rent. And then that's when Bahram was like, I think I just found my savior. So he befriends him, and then he asks him, I want to be your driver, and he's just like, I wasn't looking for one. But before that, I love that Bahram took the time to learn how to drive in this busy, traffic congested India to know how to be a good driver. Good lesson. Like, if you're gonna go for something, make sure you have something to offer, right? Like, he took the time to go and learn to be a good driver. So when he went to the city and found the family of Ashok, he was like, I want to be a driver. He was tested. Are you a good driver? Can you actually really drive? And so he showed them. They like him. He's a really likable guy, has the most beautiful smile. Like, how do you not like him, right? Clearly, obviously, they took a liking to each other. They actually become very close. I love how they discuss the idea of like, if you've lived in a Western world and there's those aspects of how you treat people, right? Everybody has a right, even the poor, even say for example in America, even the poor, you just can't treat people any other way. So they're coming from America and then they come to India where poor people have no rights. He's being treated badly by Ashok's father, and Priyanka can't stand it. Like, why are you treating him like that? Why do you kick him? And they're like, it's India, we can do that. It's almost like you own people who are poor, and which they do. When he got the job, when you get a job, they have to go to the village you're from, so that in case you steal and you do something crazy, not only are you the one who's gonna suffer, but they come for your family too. And that was always his fear, like, what's gonna happen to my family? And so they have that relationship, and he is obviously gets the job. He's working for Ashok, and he can kind of see how rich people get rich. And unfortunately, with countries that are corrupt, you see this red bag that keeps being shown in the movie where how corruption works. Instead of Ashok and his dad paying their taxes, they go and bribe those politicians, and that's how they climb up the ladder. And he's just like, wow. And here he's even saying, and me, my father, myself, with the poor people actually pay the taxes. They don't. And it just goes to show. And how true is that with many countries? Let's be honest, right? Even in this here United States, we all know it's not all perfect, right? So anyway, he's sitting there, he's learning, and the more he learns, the more upset it makes him. And then obviously we're told about Priyanka and the husband Ashok. Although they like him, they're hanging out with him, and Priyanka is driving drunk and hits somebody. And this is where the movie takes a turn. Bahram was fine doing whatever they wanted. He was fine with being the servant. they were treating him nice compared to other people, so he liked them. And when the accident happens, he tries to get them out of there before they were seen, because there was a homeless person walking, like it was a homeless kid, gets hurt. And obviously Priyanka and the husband are like, no, we gotta take him to the hospital. This is terrible. We gotta do something. And Bahram, who also from the mentality of being poor in India, knowing that these poor people mean nothing. You can hit them with a car, run away. They won't follow you. Why? They got no money. They got no lawyers to hire to come after you. So it's like, you can walk away. As long as nobody saw you, you're good, right? So then the next day he shows up, and the dad of Ashok tells him, they say, do you read? They have him come sit down, and then he reads this letter, and it's saying that he was the one who was in the car, he was the one who was driving, and so he's the one who hit this person. Please sign, meaning in case somebody saw and they came for Priyanka or Ashok, he's the one who's taking the fall for it. And at that point, to me anyway, you can tell me once you watch it, I feel like that's where he was like, enough, okay? Enough, okay? I'm gonna get my own. I've been here long enough, and I found out how you guys do this. And after all this, you want me to take the fall. And you know I can't do anything because I got no money, and you know my family, and you can do whatever you want to for me. And it really shows like, oh my God, you know? Reminds me of that song that they say, God bless the child who has his own. Because whoever does not have their own, people will treat you like garbage. I mean, wow. The life lessons though, wow. So I don't do spoilers here. I don't want to tell you everything. I want you to watch it. But you have to watch how Bahram decides to take his power back from what he's learned, and the way he goes to acquire his wealth from what he learned. It's almost like, hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. This is the game they're playing in India. I gotta play the game. Whether you agree with it, if it's right or wrong, sometimes when in Rome, you have to do what is happening, even if when you know better. And you have to see the sacrifice and in the ways he goes to where he's at. What's weird is that even when it's ending, you are still rooting for him and you still wished him well, even if the means and the ways he does it are like, questionable, right? But what an excellent movie. I recommend you watch it. I think as human beings, there's a lot of life lessons here, you know? And I think the biggest thing that I got from this is that you can get so accustomed to your life and forget that you imprisoned yourself even mentally. That idea of like, you can be poor and think that's what you deserve, to a point where you're just like, you know, this is my life, I don't deserve any better. And I loved at the end when the movie is ending and he was just like, when you guys are all still sleeping, I finally decided to wake up. OMG! Like, can we clap for that? Exactly. We all need to wake up. Like, come on, people. Like, we need to think of ourselves better. Loved the life lessons in this one. I absolutely enjoyed the whole movie. It is, you know, there's a lot, there's some violence, and obviously it's, you know, whole kind of pulls on your heartstrings, but such an excellent, I love the script, I love the actors. That guy, Bahram, the actor, I think we're gonna see him more. He was fantastic to watch. And when he would smile, oh my, it just melts your heart. But a fantastic show. It's on Netflix. I recommend you watch it. And please do join me again when I review another excellent foreign show. You never know where we're gonna stop next. Go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. It always helps my channel. And I'll see you again when I review another excellent foreign show. Deuces.